Hello and good morning. It is 7:52 on Saturday, September 13th, 2025, and welcome to a very special episode of Muncie Railfanning. It is going to be episode 333, nice little alliteration there, but as you can probably tell by the steady camera, I have a tripod now. I've also got a new phone, so we're going to be getting some new angles, trying some new things out. We got a scanner now, so we're going to try to make things a little bit more productive, I guess you could say, and a little bit more official when it comes to recording these trains out here. So don't know if we're gonna pick up TJ or not. Up in the air. Got a beautiful sunrise behind me, and we're just sitting out here by the tracks, and hopefully sometime within the next minutes or hours we'll get to see a train go by. So let's go ahead and let's check out some of the things that I learned while playing with my scanner this morning, some of the interesting channels that we saw, and hopefully in a little bit we'll get a train. So that's what I got for you guys right now. Stay tuned. It was a very crisp and cool Saturday morning in the great city of Muncie, Indiana. I had no idea if anything was out there or not, but I was still learning how my scanner worked, since I knew I was not scanning the correct channels for trains going through Muncie. Here I am playing with it, learning some things and picking up other channels, nothing that had anything to do with trains.
I can't complain about this new. The AI system has really improved the voice recognition things, but I still don't have my house wired for it. I don't know if I want the world listening to me. I know that they're already spying on me.
Eventually, I found where my bank was and the channels I'd programmed into my scanner. My reception inside the car was not the greatest, and that was later confirmed by a friend of mine that he often struggles with picking up radios when he is in town. I'm not quite sure what was happening on this Saturday morning, but there were about 3 different emergency calls that I picked up.
Eaton EMS 1, abdominal or back pain, 19,770 North Martin Street, Delaware County, cross of West Eaton Wheeling Pike and North Jonesboro Road, West 1300 North Road. Respond on EMS dispatch.
And here's my other new piece of equipment I picked up, an iPhone 13. When looking around for used phones on eBay, I knew I had to get a 13 or better, since the cameras on them record in 4K at 60 frames per second, which is what I use when I record. I wanted to keep everything consistent. Finally, my new tripod. I bought the cheapest little thing I could find on Amazon, $12 in the cart.
Mostly clear. Lows in the upper 50s. Wednesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 80s.
I waited at 6th Street for a little over 60 minutes before I finally picked something up. I couldn't hear what it was, but it was something on CSX, so I rushed over to Perkins to see it. Once I saw the stacks, I didn't need to hear the ID. CSX I-007 coming west through town. It's been a while since I have last been in Muncie, but I am used to this train coming through town somewhere between 4:30 and 6 a.m. But I believe that sometime between 6:30 and 8:30 is the new normal, based on what I have caught. I-007 was about average size this morning, mostly foreign containers with a few cuts of domestic containers out of DeWitt Yard in Syracuse, New York, to Rose Lake, Illinois, stopping in Avon, Indiana to work. After driving around a little, I went back to Perkins because I picked up the detector again, another westbound, this time on track 1.
I knew something had to be coming east then. I set up shop and soon I-131 came through town. I think it was a little over a year ago, the CSX stopped running the run-through power on this train. Usually I-132, 131's counterpart, came from Salem, Illinois, originating off the UP. CSX would just use whatever UP power was on the head end, but they started putting their own locomotives on instead. I-132 and I-131 will still sometimes have UP power on it. You just have to get lucky, I suppose.
Main 1, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 270. Detector out.
Got my little tripod set up over there. So cute. He's gonna have a great angle.
I took a little break from the CSX action and went back to 6th Street for a southbound that I heard cleared Delaware up north. I didn't catch a symbol over the radio, but I was later informed that this was a 50G led by a new AC-44 C6N. Remember that eastbound I mentioned? Well, he finally showed up on track 2, a staple of morning CSX traffic, I-008. I-008 and I-007 are pretty much the same train. Their sizes can vary sometimes, but today was about as you'd expect it, just over 300 axles.
Illinois, eastbound track. No
there at the bottom. Sure. He's gone out.
On today's I-008, there was a blue Maersk shipping container. I don't think I've ever seen one of these before. Next up on the CSX parade was M332, heading from Avon Yard to Cumberland, Maryland, stopping to work Lordstown, Ohio, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, Demler, Pennsylvania, and Connellsville, Pennsylvania. M332 usually follows pretty close behind I-008 out of Avon, and they were about an hour and 45 minutes behind 008 today. I have seen some weird variations of this train before, but out of Avon, it will have some kind of cut of foreign containers and manifest on the bottom. The amount of wells on the head end can vary. I've seen it with as many wells as it's had today, but I've also seen it with 2 sets of 3 well cars. M332 can run with DPU, depending on how long he is. I didn't hear the detector for this one, but I've seen it with 3 locomotives up front and 1 in the middle. Just depends on the day. The manifest will mostly be junk, good mix of whatever. On the end of the train, there will usually be a decent cut of auto racks, loaded and unloaded. Today was a little bit special since it ran with long automotive boxcars in the middle. These cars have seen better days, but they are still out there on the rails. Not long after 332 came through town, M331 stopped by with a special surprise in its cut of intermodal traffic, twin stack cars. You don't see too many of these very often. These today were only single loaded. I'm not sure if I've ever seen them with double stacks on them. Beside the intermodal was junk freight, just like 332 has, with a very sizable cut of boxcars on the end of the train. What, you think that good? He's a Mac leader, by the way. Next up is a favorite of TJ and I with E895, empty coal hoppers from Newport News, Virginia, back to Princeton, Indiana. This train is run as needed. If you catch the empty version, then you have missed its counterpart, C895. Both trains are run as needed. I also like the coal hoppers that run on the Indy line because they all have little ghosts on them, and some of them have the word Tubby spray painted on the side. Tubby was the name of one of my cats before he passed away. C895 used to run with 3 to 4 engines, sometimes 2 to 3 up front and 1 in the middle or on the end, then return a few days later with the same power. Nowadays, they are running shorter loads and empties with only 2 units. Not long after E895 went through, we heard the symbol for an S train, just a power move. We didn't catch a full symbol, but a couple of locomotives heading somewhere. CSX I-132 finally came through town with the solo Gevo leader on the head end. A little bit of manifest up front and a large cut of double stacks on the bottom as it made its way to Detroit. Is it 364? CSX M331 was next in the mix with the CSX Heavy Day. We usually always despise 331 because it always has GEVO power and runs right when we don't want to see any more CSX engines. Oh, and it's usually a long train filled with junk and the loudest railcar trucks that you've ever heard. It will occasionally have something cool on it, sometimes some rebuilds, the occasional 70 Mac, and sometimes even yard or local engines. Today, it had CSX 6509, a GP40-3 with the Georgia Road emblem on it. I hadn't even noticed until after TJ told me. It's a small logo, so pretty easy to miss if you don't know what you're looking for. It was the usual today, lots of mixed freight heading to Avon, but a welcome surprise with the mid-train DPU came in the mix. One thing I think every rail fan loves to see is a train knocking down a signal. With my new equipment, I was able to make this shot possible. I set up my camera 2 for a shot of NS 123 knocking down the signal at 6th Street, and used camera 1, my phone, to get a video of it coming around the curve, splitting the buildings here in town. It was an added bonus with 2 SD70 ACEs leading the train today. The conductor seemed to get upset with me being too close to the tracks, but let's see it from another perspective. Yep, a friend of TJ's. Mr. Poole had texted him, told him the plan, and said to be upset with me while recording the train. Anyway, I still got some good shots, so it wasn't too awful. Maybe just a little embarrassment in the moment. we heard the detector go off again, and a CSX eastbound was quickly approaching. We didn't hear a symbol and barely made it to Walnut Street in time to set up for it. This was the first growing pains of using 2 cameras and a tripod to record, trying to set up with the train right on your toes. I did the best I could, but this was all I could get.
I get home, you're gonna be sending me a text. Hey man, 26C and 28C are out of whatever, 29A left 263 and did you just like?
Sorry, it's a good car.
I know it's fine. Clear 6 3. I could do a solar phone like right here too. Be like, oh yeah. Hey, my bad.
Back to NS, I went to an old spot I used to go when I first started watching trains in Muncie, the old crossing that was torn up at 10th Street. This was where I caught my first Heritage unit, NS 8100 leading 143. Now, I could set up for a shot down the tracks as NS 189 came rolling southbound. They had some issues and faced a speed restriction somewhere south of Fort Wayne. A trip that should have taken about an hour and a half turned into 4 hours. It also didn't help that they needed to wait for 3 CSX trains and 123 to come off to Frankfort. More on that later. NS 51R and our last train of the day finally came north. It went onto the Frankfurt line heading west, so they had to wait until 123 came off. I picked up some of the track authority, but we were rushing around and too busy to record it. It took its sweet time coming through town, and I wasn't interested in watching a grain train, so I cut the video off early to do the outro. I'm gonna do this outro as 51R goes in the background because, well, it's a grain train. You've probably seen them before. But I want to say thank you so much for watching, if you stayed all the way through. I'm gonna put everything into one big video that you're watching right now. And hopefully it turns out pretty well. We got some new angles with the tripod. We got some new locations a little bit. We're just trying new things, experimenting in a place where I feel comfortable with shooting trains, to just kind of get, you know, a little bit used to having two phones and a tripod and just trying to make, you know, something a little bit different and a little bit better. But next train trip is going to be in Ohio, so it should be pretty good. And well, if you really want to see 51R, I don't want to see 51R. That's why I'm doing this right now. But anyway, thank you so much to everybody who's watching or did watch the video. And if you liked what you saw, go ahead and let me know down in the comments, so then I know if I should keep doing this style or, you know, try some things. It was a learning process from today, and it'll definitely be a learning process for editing. But yeah, I just want to say thank you guys so much. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I know that you liked it. If you didn't like the video, let me know in the comments. Say, hey, your video is trash, and I'll love your comment. But if there's anything that you guys think I can improve on, work on, you know, just let me know, and I'll try to work on it in the coming times that I go and see trains. But my name's been Brett. You've watched another fantastic video, I think, of Breast Train videos, and I'll see you guys next time.